What's up, everybody? It's JYSPRK here. I'm gonna be making a little combo video today about two Nuggets games that have happened this week. One on Tuesday against Minnesota, and one on Thursday versus the Magic. I will also just generally be touching on the trade deadline, what happened around the league, and specifically what happened with the Nuggets. So let's start this one out with the most recent game. So the Nuggets played the Magic on Thursday. They lost this one 115-104. A lot of what I noticed was, the bench just really did not look good. It's a very different look for this team when Bruce Brown is starting. I mean, he's definitely a very good player. I don't mind him starting. Of course, he did only have 7 points. But, I just think he fits in so much better with that bench unit. And when we can afford to bring him off the bench, I think that's when our team looks best. Some notable things about this game. We had Aaron Gordon leading all players in scoring with 37 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists. Really great night from Aaron Gordon. I think this might have been his best night of the season so far. Jokic, his first game without a triple-double in a while, 29, 12, and 6. Great scoring. It seemed like it was, he was getting people the ball. It wasn't necessarily that he didn't want to pass. It was just a lot of people weren't sinking their shots. Porter only with 12, KCP with 9. Really, outside of AG and Jokic, there was not a lot of scoring going on for the Nuggets. On the other side, just a great all-around game from the Magic. Bol with 17 points. I love watching Bol play. That dude is just inhuman. He is way too fast for how tall he is. Wendell Carter with 19 points. He's, I feel like he's a pretty good counter for Jokic. One of the few centers who I said could defend him pretty well. However, Jokic did put up 29 on him today, so that's not really, whenever your team comes out and shoots and makes only 10 threes, it's hard to win. And I mean, the Magic came out and made only 9 threes, and they still won. That's just it's frustrating. It's frustrating to look at. A big part of this was the boards as well. Magic rebounded the Nuggets by 8 in the offensive category, and by, that's also 8 just in total. If we were to have grabbed more boards, prevented more second chance points, makes a lot closer of a game. Let's see. Turnovers, as usual, are a pretty big issue for the Nuggets. I really want to see them kind of tighten up with the ball, and I just noticed that a lot of the times it happened a few times in this game where it's like, the clock is just winding down and we don't really set up an offense, especially when the bench is on the floor, and it's sort of just like you got to throw it to somebody to take a crappy last second shot. That's about all I have to say on the Magic game. Let's move on to Tuesday's game. So on Tuesday, Nuggets faced off against the Timberwolves, absolutely smoked them, 146-112. I was actually at this game. It was just such an experience to be there. I loved it. One of my favorite games of the year, just because we'd lost 3 games to the Timberwolves previously, and all 3 of those had been on the second night of a back-to-back. Hell, the last one, we didn't play hardly any of our starters. I think AG was the one, or maybe KCP. I don't remember, but there was only one starter on the floor for us that last Sunday, so to be able to play them full strength, on just a normal night of basketball. While they were pretty much there, I think they had Kyle Anderson was out, but they were pretty much full strength as well. So it was very satisfying to just put up almost 150 points. And the majority of those points came in the first quarter, where, the Nuggets put up 19 to the Timberwolves 49. And there was even a run in there, I think it was like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that, where it was 32-2. That is mind-bogglingly amazing. That is championship level good. Something you really want to see from a contender. And it's not like these Timberwolves are a bad team. They were, I believe, 8th, 9th seed when we played them that night. So, definitely no team to sneeze at. And we pretty much sneezed at. Jokic with an absolutely monster triple-double, 20, 12, and 16 assists. 16 assists from Jokic. A big man put up 16 assists. I can't. It blows my mind. No Jamal in this game or the Magic game. Hopefully he will be playing against who are we playing tonight? Charlotte. Hopefully he'll be playing against Charlotte. This video should be up, I think, like right around as that game hits like halftime or so. But yeah. MPJ, also an amazing game on Tuesday, 35-1. Just absolutely lights out. I swear, I was listening to DNVR the other day. If you like the Nuggets as much as I do, want to listen to people talk about them for like an hour and a half, DNVR Nuggets podcast is really good. And they were talking about how Michael Porter Jr. is like an amazing ceiling raiser. And we've never really thought of him in that context, but I 100% agree. It's like you can win when Michael Porter Jr. plays a pretty mediocre to bad game. Because you have Jokic. Aaron Gordon always seems to step up when somebody's missing. But when Michael Porter Jr. has a great game, we absolutely roll people over. And it is never close. Like, if MPJ has 25 plus points and the other people are doing their job as well, the other team, I mean, they can't do anything. They cannot stop us when Michael Porter Jr. is playing amazing. Aaron Gordon, also a great game. A quiet night from him because of the Jokic and Porter noise, but great game for Gordon. 24, 3, and 8 assists. He is such, a lot of people talk about it, so I don't know how much of an underrated passer he is, but he is such a great passer. You can always count on him to play unselfish ball and give it up if you see somebody with a better look. KCP played all right. One thing I will say is he came down on his ankle a little weird in the first, I think it was the first quarter, if not the second, which really frustrated me because it was clearly a flagrant. The guy crowded in on his landing space and he landed on the dude's foot. I swear the Nuggets have been called for that same flagrant like 4 times this year. And of course, the one time it happens to us, it doesn't get called. Bruce Brown had 9 points. He was just a really solid, spot guy. Started in place of Jamal, but he, after KCP went out, Ish Smith came in and played the more point role over Bruce, and that was spectacular. Ish was just lighting stuff up. His numbers are kind of quiet, 8, 4, and 7, but he was just running all over the place. He really completed that bench unit, and he helped a lot push the pace with the starting unit and get the points up to as high as it was. I mean, he was a huge reason for that 32-2 run. It started pretty much right when he came in. Chanchar, great game off the bench. I seriously hope that he is here to stay, and it looks like he is in the rotation. He had 12, 6, and 3. One thing was, not a lot to say about the Knights of the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards had 19, 3, and 3, and he was their best performer, other than maybe Luka Garza off the bench with 19, 9, and 2. D'Lo had 10, 2, and 3, and got ejected 20 minutes in with 2 pretty quick techs. And I think the big story for me was Rudy Gobert. He only played 19 minutes, but in those 19 minutes, he only accrued 0 points, 5 rebounds, 0 assists, I believe 1 block, maybe 0. No steals as well. This dude had one of the worst nights of his career, and I love that it was against the Nuggets. It was so interesting because he just did not want to come up against Jokic whatsoever. He's scared of him. The DPOY, I believe it's 3-time now, Rudy Gobert. He does not, did I just say Rudy Gobert? 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. He is afraid to guard Jokic. He had Naz Reid doing it most of the time, and Naz can't guard Jokic. So, yeah, I mean, pretty much whatever we were putting up, we were getting in that game. One of the best played games all year, in my opinion. Not super fun to watch because, honestly, it was over after the first quarter. But, great game. Moving on to the team stats. The Nuggets shot 62% from the field, made 13 of their 27 threes, and they held Minnesota to only 10 made threes out of their 35 attempts. That is how you win a game. They got beat out in the offensive rebounds, 8-6, but the Nuggets did gather 8 more total rebounds, 44-36. The Nuggets out-assisted, if that's a word, the Timberwolves by 20, 44-24. When this team is clicking, I mean, it's just crazy. You can't defend it because it's not even scheming. It's just unselfish ball. They just find who's open. So you can't scheme against that. It's so crazy. I love it. 74 points in the paint, absolutely dominant. And 12 steals. When the Nuggets beat the other team in the turnovers game, it's very hard for them to lose when they're not giving up the ball on offense. So, yeah, that is my thoughts about the game on Tuesday. And now to move on about general league trade deadline stuff. So I think the 2 biggest headlines of the trade deadline were Kyrie moving to the Mavs and KD moving to the Suns. So let's talk about what I think is probably the least interesting part of this, and that's the Nets team. I think it's going to be an interesting team. I think it's funny that Spencer Dinwiddie moves back there after not too long away. And it will, like I said, it's going to be a very interesting team. A lot of two-way potential and some pretty good spacing. You never know. And I love Nick Claxton. Those are the Nets. And then with the Mavericks, I am just very concerned about that defense. The offense, I think, will work out fine. If it doesn't work great when Luka first comes back, I think that it will definitely click. And also, that defense is a very big if for this team, I think, to win the title. That's the Mavericks situation. I think that it definitely puts them closer to being contenders, but they still have a little ways to go on the defensive side. And then the Suns, I think, are contenders at this point. The fact that they gave away Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, and Cam Johnson, and like 4 firsts. It's a pretty small deal for Kevin Durant. As well as I think TJ Warren was included, but nobody talks about that. Yeah, I think that the Suns, absolutely fleeced the Nets out of this deal. And I'm wondering if KD was just absolutely demanding a trade, and that was the offer that they got. I'm not sure. That's just speculation, but yeah, the Suns absolutely terrify me. I mean, that Chris Paul book Ayton 3-man thing that they run is absolutely insane. So the fact that they don't even really need Kevin Durant, of course he will be, but they don't need him to be a big superstar. He just needs to fill the Mikal Bridges role. He's just Mikal Bridges, but way better. So that team is terrifying. But let's talk about the Nuggets trade deadline. They only did technically one deal, and that was trading Bones, Davon, and I believe a second to Davon, Davon and the second went to LA for Thomas Bryant, and then we had Bones traded to. Sorry, there are 2 LA teams involved in this 3-team trade. So Davon and the second went to the Lakers for Thomas Bryant, and then Bones went to the Clippers for 2 seconds. And that was all technically one deal. My opinions on it, I think that it helps and it hurts. I really like Thomas Bryant. Very, very talented, very young backup center. I will say it's kind of weird that he chose Denver, considering he was saying he wanted more minutes. He didn't like playing behind AD. Now he's just going to play behind Jokic. But I'm still happy to have him. He's a very dynamic scorer, and he definitely has the potential. He has the ability to put up 20 in 20 nights, and that's, I think, completely invaluable for a team to have. One thing I'll say, I'm sure something will happen tomorrow, but the Nuggets have an open roster spot, and they need to, so they'll need to sign somebody. Everyone's thinking that they're going in the guard direction, which I would hope for, since as of right now, our backup point guard is Bruce Brown, Ish Smith. Yeah, those are the 2 that we have to choose from. So hopefully, they get a good pickup after some of these people opt out of their contracts, or not opt out, get bought out, like Reggie Jackson. Other names I've heard are Russell Westbrook. There was going to be that Cam Reddish one, but he got traded. So yeah, Reggie and Russ, I think, are the 2 most prevalent names that I hear. I think I'd rather go in the Reggie direction than the Russ direction, just because we all know how Russ is in a locker room. I just don't think it would be good for our winning mentality, and I think it would screw up the vibes just as much as Bones was. So I don't know if I'd love Russ on the team, but Reggie would be great. So after the trade deadline, I still do think that the Nuggets are my favorite to come out of the West, just because I think that there are some matchups that the Mavericks are not as good against, as well as the Suns, and who knows how good Booker is going to be when he comes back. That's what I'm kind of betting on. I think he actually played the other night, but I did not, to be honest, see how he did. But yeah, hopefully the Suns thing is not as good in person as it is on paper. And I think the Nuggets are the favorites to come out of the West if that is. Even if it isn't, I think they could beat the Suns in 7. Yeah, they could. If Bubble Murray and like MVP form Jokic show up and MPJ is at like putting up even 15 a game, I think the Nuggets come out of that series in 7. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you've made it this far. It would really mean the world to me. It helps out a lot. Be on the lookout for another video coming soon, sometime next week. I try and upload once a week, but it's not really consistent on the day. I'm trying to get better at that. Yeah, thank you guys again for watching. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter. It'll be in the card coming up now. See ya.